Buddy, we're down at the Rotunda where we've just been watching Callum do 6 rounds with a kid called Liam Williams who's fighting on our show, in quite a big fight for him, a Central Area Eliminator. I think the week before Callum fights, which is March the 11th.
Yes.
At the M&S Bank Arena or the Echo. But we've just been sat talking for the last half hour, and I was saying to you, I remember watching you as a kid, and in an era that was just full of quality.
The boxing game then was more of a sport. Today it's more of a business.
More of a popularity contest.
Yes,
as well.
and a popularity contest without a doubt. Back then, there was no social media, so you had to earn your popularity by kicking butt, and performing, But the best thing back in my era was people didn't. If you lost a fight and you fought a good fight, they didn't knock you. Today, if a guy loses a fight, it's like he lost everything, and it's like sometimes you need that loss to learn to make you better. And but some people get it, some don't. I mean, they had someone posted a thing, and Willie Pep at one point in his career was 129-1. Him and Ray Robinson. Ray Robinson was like 120 something and 1. So you get 120 wins, 1 loss. Back then you was considered, forget about it. Today if you got 1 loss, they want, oh, but you lost. Okay, so what? The best to ever do it lost. Ali, Joe Louis, Ray Robinson, Sugar Ray Leonard, Roberto Duran, they lost. But great fighters.
Yes, yeah, I believe if you take the positives out of a loss, then it only makes you a better fighter. But some people choose to ignore that and still go ahead with the mistakes that they made in the previous fights.
It's like, Ray Leonard, when he fought Duran the first time, made him a whole better fighter. Duran brought something out of Ray Leonard that someone needed to bring out of him, and that was that grit, that dog. And Ray Leonard was beating everybody, outboxing, dominating, but Duran put it in a position where, hey, you got to fight. And Ray did. I give it to Ray. I give it to Ray. And then he came back the next fight, and when Duran got close to him, he was able to get his shots off and get out. But it helped Ray later on when he fought Tommy Hearns. Tommy Hearns went from the bull to the matador, and Ray Leonard had to walk him down and make him fight. But that's something he learned from when he fight a guy like Roberto Duran, that you can fight inside, you got that grit, and that you can bite down. And that's what Ray Leonard did. So to me, that loss made Ray Leonard a better fighter.
In that golden era that you were boxing in, who's the best guy that you fought, or who's the best guy that you moved around with in preparation?
The best guy I fought, I'm putting it like, the smartest guy I fought was Sal Manby. The best I fought was Pernell Whitaker.
Yeah.
He was the best, but Sal Manby was the smartest, Pernell was the best.
Like I say, it was a golden era. But we're down here at the Rotunda, like I say, Callum's got a big fight, 11th of March. Everything going well?
Everything's good, thank God, I can't complain. I didn't realize it's only a couple of weeks away, so.
Do you know something? We was talking before, and it's a lovely gym, this, isn't it?
Yes.
We've got all the vests on the wall and all that, and it's a nice atmosphere when you come into these gyms. I was asking you about what it's like at home, when you go into a gym for sparring with someone where you've perhaps never been there before. Is it a different atmosphere?
Oh, different. Some gyms, they greet you, but some great gyms, they act like you're there to take something from them. It's like when you walk in, you're like the enemy. And it's like, yo, we just here to work. Like some gyms you walk in and everyone's looking at you like, we're all against you. You're here, but you're not coming in here getting a reputation off of us. And it's crazy. I've been in gyms where I see a fighter warming up with one trainer, but by the 3rd round of sparring, he's got 10 guys in the corner yelling, telling him what to do, and I'm saying to myself, like, we just here to work, man. We're not here to win no championship. We're here to work and to learn. But a lot of people really, really don't do that in the States. Some do. Some greet you, treat you well. But the majority of them, when you go in their gym, they look at you like, yeah, We all gonna get a piece of you today.
What was the most intimidating gym that you walked into then?
I'm gonna say intimidated, but intimidated in a different way. I walked into a Times Square boxing gym, and when I was fighting, I walked into there, and it's like the whole gym got quiet. And Times Square boxing gym and Gleason's gym, they both were in Manhattan. It was right in the center of Manhattan and Midtown. So either one of those gyms, when you walked in that door, it's like everyone looked at you like, we got you. And everybody wanted to spar you. And if you was top rated, everybody wanted a piece of you. And they didn't want to get paid. They wanted to be that guy to kick your butt that day. Because Madison's, it's funny, here was Gleason's gym. Madison Square Garden was here. And then you had Times Square boxing over here. So if you got your ass kicked, Madison Square Garden knew about it. The promoter, the guys who ran the boxing department, I should say, knew about it before you got dressed and went home. They know that somebody kicked your ass, and that somebody who kicked your ass might be fighting on the next show at Madison Square Garden. So they were doing it to try to get that opportunity, which was understandable. Now they just do it for bragging rights. They just try to kick your ass for bragging rights. But back then, everybody wanted that opportunity. And I've seen a lot of guys walk in there and walk out totally different fighters, in a bad way and some in a good way. And me, when I first walked in there, I was like, whoa. Because everyone stopped working out, like the whole gym. There was no music, of course. So when I walked in with my manager, it just got quiet. Everybody just looked at me. I was like, oh shit. And everybody wanted to box me. Everybody. And I said to my manager, look, I can't spar 6 guys. Like, everybody wanted a piece of me. So what they did was, it's okay, because back then we sparred every day. So it's like, okay, I'm gonna box these guys today, tomorrow I'm gonna box them, then tomorrow. And believe me, they were there every day.
Now you're a coach, is there anything that you did as a fighter that you wouldn't recommend? You know, is anything you've learned? Because most people, I speak to a lot of coaches, and they say, I wish I knew what I knew now as a coach, because you look at boxing in a different way to the way you look at it as a fighter.
I could say, yeah, I can list things, but I'm glad and happy that I came up in the era that I did. You know what I mean? Because the experiences that I had are totally different. I mean, I was blessed in the sense that I got the chance to spend time with some of the great fighters, man. I got, Willie Pep, Joey Giardello, Jake LaMotta, a fighter named Charlie Fusari, Jersey Joe Walcott. All these fighters used to come watch me train. You know what I mean? And then after they watched me train, we'd hang around, we'd do lunch, and I was able to pick their brains. And I used to ask 1,000 questions. I used to ask questions over and over. And I got a really good relationship with Jersey Joe Walcott.
Yeah.
And then later on, I developed a great relationship with Joe Frazier. You know what I mean? So the knowledge I got from them, money can't buy. I got to spend weeks with Georgie Benton, Eddie Futch. If I see one of them in the gym, I'd sit down after I was done training, and I'd sit there and talk with them for 2 hours. Because I said, with the knowledge that these guys are giving me,
you're foolish not to take it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like Emil Griffith, he used to be in the gym. He used to train Juan Laporte. I used to spar with Juan Laporte. But I used to give Emil a hard time, laughing and joking. But when we was done, we'd be sitting down. I'd be picking Emil's brain. You know what I mean? And I'd say, Emil, what did I do wrong, or how should I deal with this? And Emil would tell me. Same with Joe Walcott. He was the same way. He'd be like, champ, let's do this.
I mean, it was 5 times middleweight world champion?
Yes. And then Georgie Benton, same thing. He would tell me, so if you got Eddie Futch, forget it. I mean, genius.
Mm-hmm.
So today, if you see an old fighter in the gym or an old trainer in the gym, the trainers that are around today don't respect those guys. They don't respect them. They might talk to them and say hi to them, but behind their back, the shit that they say, it's kind of, sometimes, it makes my stomach turn. I mean, or if they see an old fighter, man, fuck him, blah, 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 he's punch drunk, he's this, he's that. But he still got...
Do you think there's...
He still got some knowledge there. Some of those guys, they still have knowledge. So even if you ask them a training tip, not even a tip on how to fight or how to beat, a training tip, how did you do road work? How did you do this? How did you do that? And then they'll tell you. Because to me, when they're talking to you, their face lights up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of these ex-fighters, when you go talk to them, and their face lights up, and I see it all the time. And it's like, wow. And I just pick their brains, man. I ask them simple ass questions, and they tell me, and it'll work.
We're living in an era where a lot of people try to reinvent boxing. You have a lot of trainers coming into this sport from different other combat sports, kickboxing, you've got the crossover with the mixed martial arts and everything. But are you a great believer of boxing specific? If it's, we have a lot of strength and conditioning coaches that are coming in, and I see a lot of things.
I'm an old school guy.
Yeah.
Nothing
wrong with old school, is there?
Huh?
Nothing wrong with
old school because
worked for 120 odd years.
Huh?
He's worked for 120 odd years.
Yeah. So and a lot of fighters tell me, "Oh man, you're old school, buddy. You should." And it's like, man. Okay, yes, I'm old school, but nothing beats the old school. At the end of the day, I don't care what anybody says.
What's the one thing that you've picked up over years and you've thought that you never did as a fighter that you thought, oh, I like that, I wish that's something I'm going to incorporate when I'm training kids?
Wow, that's a tough question, but I can't answer it right now, to be honest. I couldn't, because I see more stuff that I look and say, what the hell are they doing? I mean, how is that going to help you in the fight? That's just my thing. It's like, how is that going to help you in the fight?
So everything that you do in the gym has to relate to what's going to happen in the ring on fight night?
If not, what good is it? You don't see football players hitting the heavy bag.
So you don't
do
15 combinations on the pads with
Okay, you do a combination, okay, but most guys, they do the fast combinations, blah, 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 but they stand in one spot. Nobody's not going to stand there and let you hit them 15 fucking times.
I remember speaking to Billy Graham. Do you remember Billy Graham?
Yeah.
Ricky Hatton's trainer. And Billy always said he didn't like his fighters sparring more than 8 rounds. And what he used to do if they were getting ready for a 12-rounder, he would put the body belt on and the jab mitts for the last 4 rounds. And he said he could work them safer and harder by putting the bad mitts on and the body belt.
Makes sense. But now, if you're doing the mitts, okay, say you stand there and you throw a 20-punch combination, blah, 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 and you stop. My question is going to be to you is, what did you just learn? That you can throw those many punches. If I stand in front of you and let you just hit, it's choreography. If I sit there, and tell you what to do and just blah, 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 in one spot, anybody can do that.
Well, in my day, when pads were used, my coach used to do flash pads. So there was no combinations that were barked at you. But what you do, you just pop up a pad every now and then. And if you've seen the opportunity to hit the pad, you take it. I think sometimes pads are overused now sometimes.
Oh, without a doubt. I mean, I use them to teach guys, get them ready for certain things and to teach them certain things, because if I could, like I said, anybody can stand there and do this, it's really fast. Oh man, that looks good. Yeah, it looks good, yeah. But it's choreography because I'm telling you what to do.
So not thinking.
Right, it's but now if we're moving around, I said bam, bam, and I says, okay, you get in this situation, throw this combination, it's still choreography no matter how you slice it up. And I said, okay, throw this combination and I'm gonna throw this back. Now show me what you're gonna do when I throw this back. And then we see what they do. If it's right, we perfect it. If it's wrong, we make it right so we can perfect it. But I don't just stand in one spot in the ring. I use the whole ring when I'm doing mitts with a guy. I use the whole entire ring like I'm fighting you. You know what I mean? I'm giving you different looks. You know, if you're jabbing me and you're following me while you're jabbing me, I'll stop and ask the guy, okay, why are you continuously following me? What should you be doing? You should be cutting me off. I shouldn't have to tell you to cut me off. You should know I gotta cut him off. You know what I mean? And like sometimes I have a guy throw a combination and then they keep punching. I said, let me ask you a question. When you gonna get the hell out of there? You don't need me to tell you when to move. If you stay there, I'm gonna continue to tell you to throw punches. But if you get off a 4 or 5 punch combination, get the hell out of there. Don't stay there and wait for me to tell you to move. You know?
Yeah, no.
You gotta get it off and you gotta get out. Yeah. If you stay there, I'm gonna stay there. But if you pop out, bam, bam, boom, boom, bop, 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 and you find a well and you go, now I gotta rethink now. But if you stay there, I'm gonna stay there. And then at the end of the day, we're there for 2 minutes in one spot. What did you learn? Absolutely nothing.
Do you know, I could talk all day with you. I love listening to this, especially because you're from the area that I was growing up and you were all my heroes. And the good thing about boxing, you can have as many heroes as you want. It doesn't matter where they're from, as long as they make me smile, and that's how I judge everything. And you made me smile a lot. But can I just go back to how you met with Callum and how you ended up over here being his coach?
I met Paul years ago on the show The Contender.
Paul, his brother.
I met his brother Paul on The Contender, and then he wanted me to train him when the show was over, and we became really good friends. I met the family, and then I was in London a few years ago training Chisora, and Paul called me and says, hey man, would you consider training my brother Callum? I said, yeah. I says, but how about if I come to Liverpool and we work for a couple of days to see if we vibe, you know, see if there's a vibe there. And Paul was like, great. So Chisora bought me a ticket and I got on the plane, on the train, I came here, we worked for, on a Saturday and Sunday. And then that Tuesday, Paul called me and said, you got the job. My brother's fighting this date. We'll fly you back out. And that was it.
And how did you find it? Is he a joy to work with?
Oh, he's great to work with. He's great. A lot of the fighters that I've worked with here in the UK are great to work with because they listen, they try, they don't talk back. You know what I mean? You might find them, they might question you, but sometimes I think they question you to see what your answer is going to be. So the thing is, if you tell someone to do something and they ask you why, not only do you have to be able to tell them why, you got to show them. I saw a guy once, I was in the gym, and the guy was working with a fighter, and I said, yo man, what does that help the fighter do? He goes, I don't know. He goes, I saw somebody else doing it. I'm like, so what the fuck you gonna do if your fighter asks you? Why are you making me do this? He goes, I cross that bridge when I get to it. Like I didn't ask him this in front of the fighter.
Do you think it helps for people to believe what you're saying when you're a former 2-weight world champion yourself? They know you've been there, you've done it, and like you said, coming from that golden era, which was a fantastic period of boxing.
A lot of people hate when I speak about the old, back in the golden era, because everyone is stuck in this era, which is okay. You know what I'm saying? I'm not knocking it, but I just believe that if you want a fighter to do something, you got to be able to show him how to do it and tell him why he has to do it. Not just say, do this. Oh, great. If the fighter says, okay, why should I do this? If you don't have an answer for him, what fucking good is it? Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We didn't, in my era, we didn't question the trainers.
No.
But this is what we would do though. What I would do. I would say, okay, you want me to do this, but what if, the guy did this? Then now the trainer gets into detail. But really, I'm really not asking about that. I'm really asking, why do you want me to do this? But I'm trying to add something on to it that really don't make no goddamn sense, but they wind up explaining the whole thing to me. You know what I'm saying? And make me understand why they want me to do that.
Do you find that there's obviously certain things that you did naturally, and taught you, it was just one of those things. maybe coaches might refine it, but there's always something that a fighter can do that he doesn't really have to think about. So now you're a coach and you're having to explain those things. Does it make it all? Do you have to think about how you explain to people what you want them to do and why you're doing it? And also, do you have to be more intelligent, because now you have to not just think about your own style, but you've got to think about the style that will suit that fighter.
Exactly. So what you have to do is you have to study that guy in the gym and see what works for him and what's not going to work for him. Some things might work for this guy, but that doesn't mean it's going to work for that guy.
So you're a great believer in because some coaches just think one rule for all.
No,
but you're not like that. You believe that.
When I first started training, I tried to start out like that, but then I said, hold on, this shit's not working, because this guy can't do it. This guy's a better athlete than this guy. This guy can do this better than that guy. So then I said to myself, no, I can't. You got to mix it up, buddy. And then that's when I really had to put on my thinking cap. And when I was home, I got 3 different fighters in the gym training for fights. Now I got to go home at night and I'm watching TV, but I'm thinking about what I'm gonna have this guy do and how I'm gonna have him do it. That guy, how I'm gonna have him do it. The other guy, how I'm gonna have him do it. So my mind's always going.
Like I say, it's fascinating. Like I say, also it must make boxing more interesting again for you, because obviously the best part of boxing is fighting. You know,
yeah.
That's, as a fighter, that's what you love doing. But now it must be good fun for you, because you're not doing that, but you're seeing what your results can do
right.
for your fighters and the way you can.
Right.
Tell
Callum I'll be done in a minute. I don't know if he's getting dressed yet.
Tell him that.
How you doing today?
Goes okay with you?
Good, thank you.
I'll tell him, you know. Sorry.
No problem.
Right, we'll have to cut this short, but it's been an absolute pleasure.
Alright, thank you.
Find out a little bit more about one of my old heroes.
Alright, thank you.
Buddy, thank you very, very much.
My pleasure.
And good luck for March the 11th, and hopefully this will lead to a second world title fight for Callum.
Alright, thank you.
You take care, mate. Bye.
Alright, you too.
Boxing info, news and latest interviews, amateur and pro, across the north. Click and subscribe. VIP Boxing Promotions. Also Twitter, Instagram and Facebook.